Hi, this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today, we have a very special treat for you. We have the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite foods. It's coconuts. So today we have the middle-aged coconut. This is the white coconut. You know, we're all familiar with the brown, round coconut like this. So this is like a little bit younger than the brown ones. The brown ones are probably going to work a little bit better for what we're doing today than these guys, but these guys are what I have because I prefer to drink the water out of these white coconuts much more. So these ones aren't quite as mature, which means the fat content's not quite as high as the brown ones. And if what we're doing today will not even work with the Thai coconuts because the fat is really not mature and there's not much fat in the young Thai coconuts. So I've already taken the water out of these coconuts. The next thing we need to do is to get the meat out. And what we're going to make today is we're going to show you how the Omega 8006 can let you make coconut shreds, raw coconut shreds with full fat with the Omega 8006 juicer. Then we're going to see how you could take those coconut shreds and with the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center process that into coconut oil and then also process that into coconut butter. And that's going to be so good. So first, let's go ahead and process this coconut and get the meat out. So to do that, basically you want to drain the water out first. I've already done that. I had the water earlier today. I like to take a nice cleaver, and I don't use the blade side of the cleaver, I use the back side. And literally all you do is you tap, tap, tap right along the middle. Tap while you're turning. And easily it'll just come open. Then what you're going to do there is you're going to get the meat out. So I have a special tool here to get the meat out, and literally I just put this underneath between the meat and the shell and work it around. And this will allow me to get the meat out. Now if you don't have this special tool, the question is, how do you get the meat out? Well, probably your best bet is not to crack open the coconut in half like I just did. You want to probably just take the whole coconut, put it in like a double plastic bag, go outside to the sidewalk and bang it against the sidewalk. It'll break in a million pieces and you'll better be able to get the meat away from the shell. So we finally got the coconut meat out of the shell, and actually on one of the coconuts, to show you guys, if you want absolutely white coconut flakes, right? You're going to want to take a ceramic peeler or just a regular carrot peeler and peel basically the coloring off the coconut. So like, you know, normally there's a little bit of coloring here. It could be brown. And if there's a little bit of brown, you know, that's all right. It's just fiber. You can eat it. It's not going to hurt you. But it will make your flakes look a little bit, you know, off color. Also, when you're looking at the coconut, you get it out of the shell, you want to look for any kind of mold and other spots that, you know, it could be either green, black, or yellow. Those, if there's green, black, or yellow spots, that are a little bit fuzzy, you know, it's probably not good. You want to cut those, you know, sections out. So the next, before we feed this through the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center, we're going to have to, you know, basically cut it up so that it'll fit into the chute. So I like to take a nice long ceramic knife, and we're literally just going to cut this into long shreds so that we could easily, you know, put this through the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center. Alright, so we just got done cutting all the coconut into pieces that will go through the juicer. And now we're going to put it through the juicer. But remember, we have the blank plate installed inside the machine. So let's take a look and see what we get out. So take a look at what's coming out. We now have basically coconut flakes, you know, wet coconut flakes, coming out of the Omega 8006 juicer. It's taking the coconut and literally grinding up the coconut into nice large flakes that now you could use fresh. And if you do want to use them fresh, you know, you'll need to use them within days, otherwise they will go bad on you. Or what I like to do is actually literally I like to dehydrate them and make my own fresh raw coconut shreds. Now these coconut shreds will taste unlike any other. They're not going to taste like the normal coconut shreds that you buy in the store, because the coconut shreds you buy in the store have basically been defatted and probably processed at a higher temperature than what a raw foodist would like. So when you make them, your own coconut shreds at home, you control the temperature that your dehydrator is at. And so we're going to do it here at 118 degrees. And so we're just going to go ahead and finish up processing the rest of this coconut. Easily goes through the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center. We'll put the last couple bits through here. We're finished. So that was how easy it is to process basically 2 coconuts into coconut shreds. We're going to go ahead and turn the Omega 8006 off. And now we have 2 little bucketfuls of coconut shreds. So as I said, you could use these fresh, just like this. You'll need to use them within days or they'll start to go bad. Or what I prefer to do is dehydrate them. So we'll take out the dehydrator tray, and you want to make sure you're using a Flakes or a non-stick sheet available at discountjuicers.com on your dehydrator, because if you just put this on the tray, you know, on the regular mesh, it's going to fall through. So you need to put it on a non-stick sheet. If you don't have a non-stick sheet, you could also use something like maybe some wax paper or parchment paper. Now it's important when you're spreading out your coconut, you don't want to make it too thick. You want it nice and thin so it's going to dry evenly and dry faster. The taller you make it, the thicker you make it, the longer it's going to take to dry. And especially if you have, you know, 5 trays or whatever, distribute your coconut evenly amongst the trays, you know, fairly flat, you know, no higher than you know, definitely a 1/4 inch, you know, tall. So as you can see, we you know, pretty much spread this pretty good there. Put that tray in. We'll pull out the next one here. We'll put the second half of that batch on there. And we're going to just spread this out evenly. This is going to make the world's best coconut shreds. I mean, I'm sure you've had things that you've made in your own home, dried fruits and things with your dehydrator. I mean, it just always tastes better. So, you know, dried coconut shreds are no exception. When you make them in your home, they're the best. Now we're going to turn the dehydrator on, and we're going to set the dehydrator for 118 degrees, and basically now in about 12 to 24 hours, depending on how thick and where you live and the humidity level, you'll have basically dried coconut. And we'll be back in just 1 minute to show you what you could do with that dried coconut. So you just saw how we cracked open the coconut, took the coconut meat out, put it through the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center, and got coconut shreds out. We then put that in the dehydrator on the Flakes non-stick sheets. You let the dehydrator run at 118 degrees until the coconut shreds are done, which, depending on the time and the temperature and your humidity in your area, could be from, you know, 12 to 24 hours. You're going to then take them out, and this is what you're going to have. You're going to have real coconut shreds. So the coconut shreds that you buy in the store have basically been defatted, because when you move these, you'll actually see some oil on the tray, on the Flakes sheet. And so what you're going to do is very carefully then bend up the sheet not to lose any of the coconut flakes, and then put it into a big pitcher or jar. So that's 1 tray's worth. Here we'll get out another tray's worth. And so now you have real coconut flakes, full fat coconut flakes. The coconut flakes you buy in the store have actually been defatted. It's the press cake, or the remnants of when they press out the coconut oil. And that's why those flakes will never go rancid. And we want to eat things that have a shelf life, that will go bad, because those are the things that are the best for us. And so this coconut here that you just made, or that I just made, this will go bad and turn rancid. It'll start to smell and go bad, probably within 3 and at the most 6 months. So you have to use it really quickly. Okay, so now I'm going to pour off these last coconut shreds. And so there's 3 things you could do with these coconut shreds once you have them. You could actually use the coconut shreds whole, so you have, you know, whole coconut shreds with the oil content. They taste very rich and they're very good, much better than the ones that you'd buy in the bulk bins or in any package. The next thing you could do is actually make coconut butter. So you could put it through the Omega 8006 Nutrition Center with the blank plate, and that'll literally make a coconut butter. You've all seen the brand Artisana coconut butter. That's basically what they do. They take a full fat coconut shreds and they basically homogenize it with like the blank. You will have your own coconut butter, and it's much less expensive. As you can see, all the coconuts in here, these coconuts, I think there's approximately maybe 3 coconuts of shreds in here, and those 3 coconuts cost me less than $5. So I had all the coconut water, and the coconuts actually were ranging in price from 99 cents to $1.29 each. And then plus, if you want to make, you could also make your own coconut oil, your truly raw coconut oil. There has been a brand lately, Nutiva came out, and they had labeled their coconut oil raw for many years, and finally they found out that their coconut oil was not truly raw, and they came up with a press release telling people that it was not really raw. And so I admire them for that. But there is no raw food labeling law, so we have to remember that. So we want to make things ourselves in our own kitchen, and the Omega 8006 juicer allows you to do just that. So this is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.